You, fake milk isn't funny anymore.
This just in, thousands are being infected by a deadly illness that is spreading across our local communities. It is known to force you to watch videos of a cartoon penguin on the internet, as well as making you feel mildly annoyed at the fact that it doesn't upload enough. Sorry about that. And your tongue turns blue. For some reason. Experts call it Pengicitis. Scientists around the world are gathering to find a cure for this mysterious illness, but as of right now, there is no known cure. Bags milk. Bags milk. Bags milk. Bags milk. Bags milk. Hey guys, check out my costume. What are you? I'm Frankenstein's monster. You should be Pickle Rick. We like Pickle Rick. Well, I don't want to be Pickle Rick. I would subscribe. Wait, no. Hello there. Welcome to another video on the internet, the place where I get my fill of an unsatisfyingly dull addiction to social media. Now that, my friends, is very spooky in itself and annoying. But I'm not here to talk about the internet, a topic I feel like I've covered multiple times already. Sorry about that. No, today I'm going to talk a little bit about Halloween. More specifically, I want to talk about costumes, why we wear them, and go a bit in depth of the societal norm that is growing up with this tradition for a large portion of many of our childhoods until eventually we stop doing it. And I want to find out why we stopped doing it. Now you probably think you already know the answer, because you get too old for it. You can't be a 40-year-old man in a Spider-Man costume asking your neighbors for candy. That would be a little creepy. I mean, you're not totally wrong, okay? But I've seen this little debate on what age is too old to trick-or-treat for years. What are the factors that even determine whether you're too old to trick-or-treat? Does your family decide? Is it your neighbors? Or is it just a feeling you get as time goes on? That feeling that, hey, I've grown out of this. Now I'm not gonna make this entire video an in-depth analysis on Halloween costumes and whether you're old enough to wear them. That would be ridiculous and overdone. But I do want to briefly talk about the concept of trick-or-treating, where it came from, and take some time to think about the tradition of trick-or-treating as well as Halloween as a whole. And I know some of you outside of the US, you might not celebrate Halloween. Maybe I'm wrong and you do celebrate it. But for those who don't, or for those who just want to know more about it, maybe in this video you'll learn something new about the holiday, whether you're an American or a purple alien watching this video on your eyeballs. I think it's time for a little history lesson. Halloween, as we all know, is the spooky month. Skeletons come out of the closet, carving pumpkins, wearing costumes, going to parties, or just watching scary movies. Many of us in the US and Canada celebrate it every year on October 31st. Halloween originated from nearly 2,000 years ago, where an ancient festival called Samhain, Szechuan sauce, was celebrated on November 1st to mark the end of the harvest season and the start of winter. The night before, October 31st, many believed that spooky ghosts came out of their graves, so people would leave food and wine outside of their house so the scary ghosts would go away, and people would put sheets on their heads and walk around so they look like other fellow ghosts roaming around. Eventually, November 1st was changed to All Saints Day, and the night before was called All Hallows Eve, and then eventually was shortened to Halloween. Fast forward to the 19th century, people decided to bring back the tradition that used to be young people dressing up and going to people's houses collecting food like grapes and bread from neighbors. And for a while, this revival of an old tradition was really just taking the trick out of trick-or-treating. But in the 1950s, people realized that you can take candy from people without throwing eggs at their house. Wow, amazing. The tradition of Halloween is to wear a costume or make a costume and go door to door to any house with the lights on asking for the candy your neighbors were forced to get at the dollar store last minute, and you threaten them with trick-or-treat. However, nowadays we're legally not allowed to do the trick part, so we just have to hope that they have candy and not toothbrushes. If they do have toothbrushes, you better hope they're not a prank YouTuber, because now they have an excuse to say, "It's just a prank, bro." Trick-or-treating is basically little kids running around flailing their arms like Naruto to the next door, violently punching the next door open, hoping for some Kit Kats. Okay, they probably won't actually punch the door. That would be rude. Give me the Snickers and nobody gets hurt. I've always loved Halloween for as long as I could remember. One of my first costumes being this terrifying JJ the Jet Plane outfit. My family will always say it was cute, but come on, it's terrifying. Then I was Spider-Man for like 4 years in a row. I really liked Spider-Man. Then one year I was Venom, then a ninja for like 3 years in a row. And following that, I wanted to get more creative than just getting costumes at the store. Many of you may be familiar with Slender Man. If you don't know, he's basically this big white guy without a face, and he has really long arms. He's really tall. Kind of funny since I was really short back then, but I had to pretend to be tall. And basically, I made a costume of it when it was still fairly popular. We bought a white mask, then put layers and layers of fabric over it to the point where it was actually kind of difficult to breathe. I was literally sweating under the mask, but it was worth it because I actually looked faceless, and I thought that was really cool. Following that, I think I was going through sort of a Doctor Who phase, so I decided I wanted to be the 11th Doctor. I would have been the 10th Doctor, but I couldn't find a blue suit, and my hair just looked more like Matt Smith at the time. I found a sonic screwdriver at the store, some overalls, bada boom, I was Mr. Doctor Who. I probably just triggered so many people by saying his name is Doctor Who. His name is the Doctor, not Doctor Who. For the following year, something didn't feel right. I wasn't really in the mood to dress up this time, so I decided last minute to just wear a wolf mask that came with some gloves. It was cheap, but it did look kind of cool. So then I think the next year, I literally just wore a Batman mask I found at the dollar store and a little black cape. And I went trick-or-treating with my younger cousins as well as their friends that were a little over half my age, but not half my height. Nowadays, I kind of just don't want to do it at all. A tradition that was a big part of my life, next to Thanksgiving and Christmas, suddenly the appeal just lost me. And instead, I'd rather be buying candy at the dollar store and watching a scary movie or something. So what happened? Well, for me, I think I know what happened. First of all, obviously there's a certain age where people will look down upon you trick-or-treating at 18 or 30. But honestly, I think I would have been short enough that I could still get away with it, but I just didn't want to do it anymore. As a kid, I always loved superheroes, especially Spider-Man. I really wanted to be like Spider-Man one day. You know, I owned a lot of Spider-Man comics, blankets, pillows, you name it, I had Spider-Man stuff. And I think growing up, I wanted to be Spider-Man. I wanted to be a ninja and all these other cool things, because being younger, everyone always tells you you can be whatever you want, you know? Like I used to say a lot, I can't wait to grow up and be an adult, but the older I got, the more I realized my childlike wonders starting to fade away a bit. As a kid, I was always dancing and running around in costumes, pretty careless and stress-free, and it was pretty nice actually. You know, thinking school was gonna be fun and being adult was gonna be having all this freedom and being your own boss. But something I know for sure these days is you can't be a Spider-Man. Sure, you can help people, but you can't be Spider-Man. Sure, I still enjoy these superheroes, and sure, I can appreciate a cool looking costume, but walking around asking neighbors for candy I could just buy at the dollar store, I don't know, it feels pointless to me. Makes me feel like a homeless person walking around the neighborhood begging for Reese's to feed my addiction to dollar store candy bars. And wearing a Spider-Man costume in public with big buff muscles nowadays is kinda silly. Like sure, as a kid, it's cute, but now that I'm growing a beard and I'm getting older, it would be kinda odd. Also, taking off the costume, I'm not that muscular. It's like that episode of SpongeBob with the anchor arms where he's actually a wimp and bought those inflatable arms he saw on TV to show off at the beach, but he can't even pick up a stick with 2 marshmallows on it. I never understood that. But you know what? That doesn't mean you shouldn't still have some Halloween spirit. A lot of people celebrate the holiday in different ways, whether it's going to parties, watching scary movies, working for Satan, carving pumpkins, or even just eating a bunch of candy. Halloween is that one time of the year to indulge in all the Reese's you want and to celebrate the spooky skeletons and ghosts roaming around in your sleep. When you think about it, we all have skeletons inside of us. Spooky. Okay, but really though, I honestly hold these childhood memories in a special place in my heart. I once held a Halloween party at my apartment. We had a fog machine and banners everywhere, and everyone had a good time. Though someone did steal my phone when I wasn't looking, but you know, it was a cheap phone, and I still had a great time. And wearing all these costumes and showing them off and walking around the neighborhood was really nice. And even if I can't be Spider-Man, I can still roll around in candy, turn off the lights, and play some spooky music at full blast. Now, before I end this video, my good friend Zalgaloo is gonna share his thoughts on Halloween.
It's that time of the year, the time when everyone is getting all dressed up, eating snack food, committing sins of the Catholic Church, and doing meth at Halloween parties. Now, you see, I can relate to what Bob said about not wearing many fancy things around Halloween since getting older. Hell, every year for the past half a decade, I've just been wearing the same black mask and a hoodie for Halloween. But you know, what is lacking in my costume is made up for my attitude and love for the entire month of spooks. I love the candy, I love the horror movies, I love the orange lights, I love the self-indulgence, I just love everything Halloween stands for. I mean, for fuck's sakes, my character is black and orange. What did you expect for my character to be based off Garfield the cat?
Powerful, in control, statuesque, etc., etc. Composed rage.
So the point I'm trying to make is that it's okay if you don't want to dress up and walk around for Halloween, but if you do, that's great. If you want to wear costumes and go to costume contests, that's awesome. Even if for some reason you can't go out and trick or treat, you can always find ways to get spooky and enjoy yourself on Halloween night. What matters is if you're having fun. You know, I'm willing to celebrate any day where I have an excuse to eat a bunch of Reese's on the couch, you know. But anyway, remember to stay safe, have a happy Halloween, and as always, good vibes, everyone. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. Most of them take quite a bit of time and effort to make, so I'm really grateful if you've been patiently waiting for the next video. And hey, I even got it out in time for Halloween too. I remember my really old video in 2016. I said Happy Halloween in the first minute and it was December 12th. Yeah, so I'm glad I got it right this time. This video may or may not be a day early, but you know, better a day early than 2 months late. Anyway, thanks to Zalgaloo for being in the video. Thank you for checking out the video, and hopefully you'll see the next one. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. See ya!